It's alive. Oh, it's alive. It's alive. It's alive. It's alive.
I see dead people.
Hot shit.
Here's Johnny.
Stop.
We have such sights to show you.
Bring the motherfucking ruckus.
Fuck you too!
Alright. Quick recap. Okay, accurate. I was gonna say we just went to jail. We just got arrested.
We just went to Juicy Seafood.
we did. We got some juicy seafood.
Yeah, so our friend got arrested.
No, we got arrested, but we're getting set free, and our buddy, I believe Clark.
Yeah, he's
Clark is going to jail.
He's in the big house.
A couple weeks until we can come up with something. You are David fucking King.
Yes, I am.
And apparently David King is a master villain from the 1940s, the type of person who puts bitches on train tracks and cackles in the background.
Yeah, see?
I'm letting Frowns run away with that one. If no one likes it, deal with it for another 2 episodes.
But put in the comments if you like it or not. Because if you do, I might put them on a different episode.
No, I already told you the David King thing. It's an ongoing series. We're only reading the first couple parts.
Oh.
There's more David King. If you like this, if this is good, if people like this, you know how I gave Tenron the gas station series, and how it's not just like one story, there are like 10 stories, but you kind of tell them chapter by chapter. Apparently there's a David King thing that's very similar.
Shit.
There are like 2 or 3 stories that exist where David King is like a main character. But we are just reading the first one that this person ever wrote.
But if you like it, we'll keep doing the shit. And if you don't like it, we're gonna do it anyway.
That's a pretty good point too. You know, there is a high chance that if no one is vocal about anything, I just do it anyway. So, definitely mention something at some point, or else I'm gonna regret it after I post it. So, yeah, I'm in full support.
There's also a high chance that you're high.
High chance of high if you're high. And I am...
exactly 420 degrees high.
Times 6'9", times 6'9", times 6'9". I am in support of David King. I think this guy is like a modern day Joker, you know? Like, he's 2 steps ahead of you at every turn. He's all about that chaos energy, that chaos magic, and I can't necessarily say that I like the voice you're doing. I don't think it's terribly accurate because he's probably just a regular guy.
Oh, absolutely.
But you need to bring a flavor, and the flavor is batshit. It's guano. It's
I just imagine him running around with like a purple cape and a top hat.
Yeah.
And a mustache. I really do.
Yeah.
This is how I've envisioned it now.
And that's not the case at all.
But
he's like a 27-year-old guy who works as a security guard, so he's probably just wearing like a cardigan, you know?
Yeah.
Or a nice polo. He's wearing a polo and cargo shorts. and instead, you're making him out to be some Machiavellian Archduke of crime from the 1920s.
You know what I'm really getting envisioned of? Frosty the Snowman. The guy who was like kind of the dick in that. Messy.
The magic guy. The guy whose hat they steal.
That is it.
They steal
That's who it is.
They steal that motherfucker's hat so that they could go give it to some pile of fucking snow that yells happy birthday.
That is exactly who David King is.
Yeah. No, I like that. And by like that, I mean gonna deal with it.
That's right. That's right.
So we're reading a series, no doubt you've picked up on it, that we started a little bit ago. I'm here with Frowns McBooHoo, who always claims that I never introduce him on episodes.
Always.
I want you to remember now at minute 5, 20 seconds into this podcast, I am introducing you by name, Frowns McBooHoo.
age, sex, location.
Nope.
Age.
I don't want to say any of those.
69.
That's
Location.
not inaccurate.
My ass. And
Name David fucking King. Anyway,
sex. Yes.
yes, please. I hate you. So,
I could have made him Austin Powers.
sex, yes, please. Great. God damn it.
Yeah, baby, yeah.
He did it anyway.
I did it anyway.
So it's name of the. It should have been the name of the show, you know. Lots of pasta. Did it anyway. Because that's what you do. Because
if we don't do it, then what's the point?
What's the fucking point? Floating through life endlessly, waiting to
Die.
waiting to regain the void.
The time is nigh to die.
Yeah. Fuck, man, I keep forgetting how to introduce this fucking show. It's been so long. I'm here with Frowns McBooHoo. We're reading the part 2 of the David King series, the first one, which is called I Dared My Best Friend to Ruin My Life, and he's succeeding. We read, I believe, parts 1 and 2 last time, and we're going to see how much we can read in another hour or so. But we did a quick recap at the beginning, and I'm really happy with kind of the speed at which this series is going.
You know what I just thought about?
What'd you just think about?
Remember how back in the day I always used to come up with vegetable pastas for this show?
I do, and let me tell you, I don't miss it.
Why didn't I just say, or if you're vegetarian, just pasta? Like, why didn't I just say pasta?
I think that was the joke.
No, because I don't know. I was high. I was high a lot.
We were
back
high
then.
back then. Yeah, you're not allowed to be high anymore. So
Pasta.
yeah,
Butter
pasta.
Butter pasta.
That's some Paula Deen pasta right there. some fucking honey boo boo pasta. Come get your butter. Come get your butter.
Daddy's in butter.
Honey boo boo. What? Butter.
What you gonna tell them judges about your pig heart? I'ma tell them my heart is sweeter than bacon, child.
I got pig heart.
You want this one? That one gave me the evil eye. I want that one. I want
All right,
that
that's enough.
one.
The entire show cannot just be us talking about South Park.
I mean,
even though I fucking love it. I'm doing a rewatch of South Park right now on HBO Max. It is the best decision I've ever had because I end most nights high off my ass and laughing.
Also, subscribing to HBO Max is also a really great decision. Highly
a lot
recommend.
of good stuff. A lot of good stuff there. Give a good shout out to all the early releases of movies I don't have to go to a theater to see because I'm lazy.
Amen.
And the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League was really fucking good. Yeah, go watch that Lovecraft Country. It's really fucking good.
Really fucking good.
You got all your old Cartoon Network on there. You got all of Hayao Miyazaki's Studio Ghibli shit on there. There's just a lot of good shit.
Mayor of Easttown is a really good show.
Is that on there?
Yeah. It's HBO short series.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, but now that I do, I might actually watch it like you keep suggesting to tell me to.
Fucking good.
After I watch 5 other things.
Oh, after I watch 69 other things, I might watch
Kill
420.
Anyway, we're starting with part 4 of the Dared My Best Friend to Ruin My Life series. So we're doing that now.
Who wants to get started? You get it started?
I'm gonna get it started
All
this time.
right.
Hi everyone, I've been exploring today. New city, new layouts to learn. I'm getting good at memorizing cities. I'm getting good at my city. I look at maps all day. Thank you for all your support and suggestions. Once again, these are all past events, but I'm taking your ideas into consideration for how to fight back here in the present. A few of you have offered to help in other ways, and I appreciate the offers, but this is my fight. I've ruined so many other lives by involving people. No, David is mine to ruin, even if I die trying. Also, I've looked back over it and I realized something I've forgotten, but now I've forgotten what it was, so forgive me if I make a correction in the next part. Why even write that? Another thing. I try to talk to as many people as I can in the comments, unless my reply will have to contain spoilers, but live events have forced me to limit that interaction because of time and the sheer number of you. Forgive me. I always liked the meta aspect of, like, I'm an actual guy dealing with this thing, but sometimes it gets fucking annoying to read. I'll continue. I called Clark's mom right away. I had their home phone number because last Christmas Clark invited me to his house for Christmas dinner since my parents and I were still fighting pretty harshly. He'd already gone home while I had to work, so he gave me his cell phone number in case I got lost and he didn't answer the call. She was devastated and asked me a million questions. It was very, very uncomfortable. She agreed to drive down that day and post bail for him, and she lived a few hours away, so she said she'd be here around 5 p.m. The county we were in didn't allow online payments via credit card, cash only, so she had to physically drive down. In the middle of the phone call, I missed a call from a number that wasn't in my contacts. I called back and they answered immediately. Hi, I missed a call from this number.
Hi, is this Xander?
Yeah? Who's this?
Xander, I'm Katie's mom. Your parents gave me your number.
You know Katie's fucking kidnapped, right? So you're reading it really fucking pleasantly. Shit!
I can't talk now.
No, that's my line. God damn it. I can't talk right now. I'm in a rush and she cut me off.
Have you heard from Katie? She didn't come home last night. Your mama gave me your number. Please tell me she's with you.
She's not. I'm not sure where she is. I'll have to go. I'll call you back. I hung up the phone. I didn't want to talk to her about Katie because I was about to file her missing persons report. I walked over to the reception desk. I was just talking to an officer and then he arrested my friend and walked off. I need to talk to the officer on my other case about identity fraud.
What's that case number?
The lady asked. A while later, I was sitting in on the interrogation rooms after asking for a private meeting. Detective Hernandez sat at the opposite end with a metal table. My 2 case files were open on the table in front of him. He was glancing through them, trying to familiarize himself with a break in the report. A tape recorder sat between us, and he pressed a button on the recorder to make the tape start rolling. He stated my name, his name, my case numbers, the date, time, age, sex, language. Yes, please.
All right, go ahead.
we did voices like that last time.
All right, go ahead.
Even though your name's Hernandez.
All right, go ahead.
So I submitted a report for identity theft a while ago and haven't heard anything about it.
The FTC can take some time to respond.
Well, now there's a new report for a break-in at my apartment. I was talking to another officer earlier and told him that I have a suspect for both crimes.
CCC.
The detective said, looking over one of the folders. He had both cases on the table.
Oh, David King, correct? Looks like... Looks like he was reading on your file.
Yeah, David King. He used to be a friend of mine, but now he hates me and has been targeting me.
Oh, yes, they're targeting you how?
Most recently, he's kidnapped my girlfriend, Katie. And this caught his attention. He pulled a pen from his front pocket.
When was this?
Setting his pen on a blank page. Last night, when we went to go graffiti his house, he chased us after and pinned me to a table. He called someone on the phone and had them put Katie on the phone. I heard her voice and he claimed he kidnapped her to motivate me.
Motivate you to do what, Holmes?
I told him about the Dare conversation, then about all the junk mail, my online accounts, the credit card fraud, my parents' credit being targeted, my car windows, the break-in, my bank account being emptied, the graffiti incident, Katie's phone call, protecting Clark's bank and online account, and now Clark's arrest. Hernandez took copious notes. It just keeps escalating, I said in defeat. I watched Hernandez carefully, trying to gauge his reaction. I couldn't tell what he believed.
I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, Holmes.
I didn't ask about that.
I need more details about the phone call. What did she say? What did you say? What did you hear on the other end?
We talked through everything for an hour. Nothing I said was useful for finding Katie, but Hernandez sat back after I finished.
Xander, I have to be honest. This all sounds very loose. I don't mean the crimes themselves. I mean the connections linking David to all of these crimes. There's nothing that can be done about the identity theft till the FTC finish their investigation, Holmes. The break-in, broken windows, hacked accounts, and the empty bank accounts will have to produce their own evidence to prove that David committed each one.
You're not done yet.
Give me a sec.
Just read normally.
I already started. I can't stop now.
You can always turn back.
I'm not sure. Do you? This is all one timeline of events, but to the law, there are separate crimes that have to be treated with no regard for past actions.
His tone was reasonable and concerned.
Was it reasonable?
It was racist and inappropriate.
I believe you, but I can't make an arrest.
I feel like I've done the same exact fucking voice you're doing right now on a different episode.
I'm pretty sure you have. I believe you, but I can't make an arrest without witnesses or hard evidence. Your story is circumstantial at best, but do you believe when you say they are connected?
Finally, someone believes me. What if the text said about the break-in? They said they found a few fingerprints.
All the fingerprints found belong to each of you and a few other people who used to live there. According to the file, they've all been confirmed as past residents.
And what about the ATM camera?
Now that's something unfortunate.
Looking through the folder again.
We got a call from your bank to file the fraud report. It was smart of you to go through the bank to report the fraud. My boss made it a priority, and since it was the same name, it was added to your file on your identity theft. I've been the one personally working on your identity theft case, Holmes. One, I received the case. I called the convenience store and the ATM was in. They gave me the brand of the ATM so I could request the footage from the company. Problem is, that ATM don't have no camera.
What? How can an ATM not have a camera?
Not all brands do. Some ATMs don't have cameras built in, and this was one of them. Someone logged into your online bank account right before the ATM transaction. They moved all the money from your savings to the checking account. They also increased your ATM withdrawal to $5,000. Went online, which was above the $3,500 you had in your account. Normally you can only withdraw $500.
What about the store's cameras? I practically shouted.
Don't shout at me, Holmes. I asked them for the footage to bring it down. They said they'll be in today.
Where's this store? I want to see this for myself.
No. I may have inclination to lean towards your theory, but I will collect the evidence myself and a court will decide. You stay clear.
Then drive yourself right now, goddammit. He stood, slightly, his hand reaching for his belt automatically.
Calm down!
Looking me in the eyes. I have no money. My car windows are smashed. I can't repair them. My rent will be due and I have no way to pay. I can't get to work in a car I can't drive. I need my money back. Hernandez sighed, sitting back down. I breathed heavily.
Ay, Dios mío, Holmes. As long as you have the Lord Jesus Christ in your corner, you're fine.
That wasn't a line. That was just Frowns.
No, you know, I like to do what I want.
Yeah, but they don't know that you didn't just read that.
Oh well, I mean, it's an appropriate line.
I don't know. You can't be. You're not the author.
But I could be. Also, shout out if you want me to write my own creepypasta, submit it to the show. Been thinking about it. Might do it.
You've always had the chance.
If David is the one who used your information to commit credit card fraud, why would he steal a measly $3,500 from you?
Because he's dead set on ruining my life. That's the dare. He's taken it too far, further than any sane person would. He's sick. I just want it to stop. I cried a little. And Hernandez let me sit in silence for a minute with tears rolling down my cheeks. What about Katie?
The kidnapping is going to be a top priority. That's the one that has a witness. You. I won't be working on it, but someone in a different section of the department will be. The other detective will want to interview you today and get started.
Let's do it then. Wiping my eyes.
Hernandez kissed my cheek. And then
Hernandez stepped out and returned a while later with a detective. Detective White came in and probed me with hundreds of questions.
Hundreds of
Where did she
dildos.
work? Who were her friends? How long had we been together? When did I last see her? Do her parents know? Questions like that. When I brought up David in the phone call, he leaned in and asked me the same questions about what I'd heard and what we'd said and anything I could remember. And I didn't remember anything helpful.
I'll need to bring David in for questioning. Your testimony is decent, but we'll need more evidence for this conviction. Evidence is needed. I can't arrest him today because I need more proof. I do it proof. If we arrest him without enough proof, he'll woggle.
Come on, man.
He'll woggle free and I can't be tried again. No, sir, he can't.
You had enough proof to arrest Clark,
Clark?
Detective White asked. I was just talking with an officer who said David called in and told you all that Clark graffitied his house. All he had to do was call, and he got arrested. Detective White excused himself to go find out more about what had happened. He came back 5 minutes later.
David has more proof on that case. Photographs of graffiti, photographs of Clark coming up to the house, his own testimony about recognizing Clark, and a bruised face. His face is bruised, face bruised. Clark's hand is also cut up, which corroborates his story. We noticed it when we booked him. This is the kind of evidence we need to convict in a kidnapping. Right now, we have your testimony stating that you said hello to Katie on the phone, and that David said he kidnapped her. We need more evidence to convince a jury.
But I was with Clark.
In the pictures you weren't.
Then they're fakes.
An expert checked them, and that determines that it determines.
I sat back in my chair feeling defeated. Detective White thanked me for my testimony and left to contact Katie's parents. Detective Hernandez sat back down, watching me as tears welled up in my eyes again.
Oh, hey, let me pay for your windows, Holmes.
It won't matter. He'll break them again the next day.
He's broken them more than once?
Every time I repair them, they're smashed the next day.
I might have an idea, but I'll need approval from my boss.
If you haven't heard of entrapment in the context of police investigation, it's a legal defense that's used when evidence can be shown that an officer induces a criminal to commit a crime they wouldn't otherwise commit. When this defense is used, there are two viewings. In some courts, if a defendant uses entrapment as a defense, the prosecution has to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the criminal was not entrapped. In other courts, the defense has to prove that it was entrapped. The state I was in required the prosecution to do the proving. Hernandez recognized that his plan would be construed as entrapment, and he explained this to me as we walked to his boss's office. He told me that since David had already established a pattern of breaking my windows, Hernandez could set up surveillance on the car and just wait for David to commit the crime he was going to do anyway. Since I had repaired my windows twice and had kept the receipts, that would serve as good evidence that the crime had been repetitive. The idea made me hopeful, and I sat outside the boss's office while he walked in and presented his idea. When he walked out, he gave me a thumbs up. David would never know what hit him. Hernandez drove me to my house where I picked up my car and took it to a repair shop. He followed me over there and paid. We drove to my work in Hernandez's car while they worked on it. Hernandez ordered us some lunch and I talked to my boss. I told him about my bank account getting hacked and I needed to cancel direct deposit. Luckily, payroll was next week, so they'd be able to change the method of payment by the next paycheck. I told him about my situation and Hernandez backed me up. He agreed to pay some of my wages in advance out of the store's petty cash until payday came, and I was to pay him back. I thanked him profusely for helping me out and apologizing for having to call in sick that day, and I walked out with a full stomach, $335, and a calm mind. With any luck, we'd catch David tonight. Hernandez took me back to the shop and I picked up my car and I tried to pay from the money I'd received, but he refused, saying I could pay him back after this was all resolved. He told me that he'd be at my house later on to start the surveillance and to just park my car on the street. I thanked him again before we parted. It was about 3 p.m. when I got home and I parked my car several blocks away and next to several others for camouflage. I didn't want David to find it and smash the windows before tonight. The walk was hot and cool air condition welcomed me home into my house.
Excuse me?
Someone asked timidly as I unlocked my front door. I peeked my head back outside and there was an old woman on the landing. Probably older woman, not old woman, probably in her 40s. Yes?
You live in that apartment, I'm guessing?
Yeah. Come on.
I'm Miss Watson. I believe you and my son are roommates.
Oh, hello. Extending my hand. Whose mom are you?
Isaac. He and I were supposed to be driving out of state to visit family yesterday, but he never showed up.
A chill ran up my spine.
I've called him 1,000 times, but he hasn't answered. I've been standing here ringing on the doorbell for a while, but no one has come home. Can I go knock on his door?
I considered asking her to leave or telling her that I wasn't comfortable with her coming in, but I knew that that would be suspicious. I knew what we were going to find. I told her to come in and instantly the smell overtook us. She tried to be polite and not offend me, probably thinking we were typical college guys living like pigs.
Oh, God.
And she walked down the hall to Isaac's room. The smell must have been horrific. Right by the door, I shuddered, but went down the hall towards her, and she knocked.
Isaac?
She called, no answer, as I expected.
Isaac, it's Mom!
I think the smell made her start to panic because she started pounding on the door.
Isaac, open up, please!
She pleaded desperately, and I sighed. Gently, I guided her away from the door and braced myself. I took a running start and slammed into the door, and it bent heavily, but the latch didn't break. I tried again, and again, and on the fourth try, the door wrenched open, and I was inside. The smell. Oh, God, I don't know how many times I can tell you about it until you understand. This was one of those moments where I'll remember every detail forever. Isaac's room was a mess. There were 3 bookshelves that likely used to have tons of books, but the shelves were torn apart and books scattered across the room. His computer desk had papers scattered across it and cups knocked over. The window was darkened by a blackout curtain used for gaming. The large gaming computer under the desk hummed, and the monitor showed stars moving around for a screensaver. Isaac was on the bed. His face was pale and patchy, with purple lines. His arms and legs were white and also bruised. An extension cord trailed off the bed, the middle being wrapped around his neck several times. Some flies nested on the body, flying to another spot occasionally. Mrs. Watson entered the room and screamed.
Oh!
And screamed.
Oh!
I just stood there, staring at Isaac's dilapidated body. David had jumped to murder. I called the police and tried to get Mrs. Watson to leave the apartment and preserve the crime scene. And she refused, sitting there sobbing next to Isaac's bed. She was afraid to touch him. The police came immediately and escorted Mrs. Watson and I out of the apartment. And the next few hours were a blur of questions, and Police Detective Hernandez showed up looking inside. Techs were carrying the cameras and briefcases full of equipment, and after a while they started to carry out some of Isaac's belongings in bags. His gaming computer took 2 techs to carry out. I sat on the curb nearby, not being allowed to leave by the head officer who was running the scene. Hernandez sat next to me.
They broke into your other roommate's door? All his belongings are there. But your roommate isn't? Do you know where he is?
No, I never talked to him much.
Were you close to Isaac?
No, but it's still...
I know.
Do you think David is behind this too?
Oh no, that's me. Do you think David is behind this too?
Probably, I replied, feeling numb.
We'll still carry out the surveillance. Don't worry. They'll analyze Isaac's body, and if they find so much as a fleck of skin that we can link to David, we'll nail him. No criminal is perfect.
Hernandez left me alone, and I thought over the situation. Then a car parked nearby, and out stepped Clark with his mom. I jumped up and ran over to him. Oh my god, Clark, are you okay? It's like a dude bro voice, just do it.
Oh, fine.
He smiled reassuringly.
Posted bail. It was like $350. No, it wasn't awful.
I thought you said you'd be here by 5, I asked Clark's mom. A side note, I don't remember the exact time she got here, but I do remember she was earlier than expected. I was going to meet them both at the station. I may have broken a few speed limits.
What's happened?
Clark's face suddenly went cold when he saw all the policemen near our door. Isaac was found in his room. I didn't have to specify what state he was in.
Jesus Christ, bruh.
Clark gasped, putting his hands on his knees. He started hyperventilating, and his mom, worried, put a hand on his back. Clark, honey, let's just go for a drive. We can get your stuff later. Your stuff? He's moving out. He told me all about this sick game your friend is playing. I don't think it's very funny. It's not funny. It never was. This fucking asshole is trying to ruin my life. It's not a game. A few of the policemen turned to watch me from the balcony. Her jaw tightened and she guided her hyperventilating son to the car. They drove away and I was left in the middle of the street watching my best friend leave me to handle David alone.
The car rolled down and Clark put his head out and said, "It's just a prank, bro."
It's just a prank, bro.
It's just a prank, bro.
I'm just gonna keep on barreling.
Yeah, keep on keeping on.
Keep on barreling through. Part 5! I just finished posting links to the part in the comments. Part 4, I don't think I'll be able to do that again, so please check back. 24 hours from publication to post. Rip my fingers.
Rip.
Hi again, everyone. As I do in every post, thank you for your support and encouragement. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah. Past events, blah, blah. One more thing, blah. Let's begin.
Happy birthday!
Shut up, Snowman.
Happy birthday!
The police took Isaac out in a body bag. Mrs. Watson left with the body still sobbing uncontrollably. I was told that I couldn't go into the apartment until they were completely done with the crime scene. No, they didn't know when that would be. They suggested a hotel room, which I laughed at. I asked if I could grab a blanket and a pillow from my room so I could sleep in my car, and they reluctantly brought it to me. I gagged when I grabbed them. They smelled like death. Hernandez offered to get me a motel room or let me stay at his place or even begged me to call a friend and stay with them. I refused all 3. I walked to my car and ignored Hernandez. I was still too mad about everything and devastated that Clark had left. Besides, we couldn't do surveillance on the car while I slept in it. I marched all the way to my car and slammed the door hard. I decided I didn't feel safe parking near my house to sleep, so I went to a Walmart parking lot for the night. It was as if fate had finally begun to root for me, and as I was walking towards the Walmart entrance from the parking lot to buy some food, when I was only a few cars away, an armored truck pulled up. The ones that carry the money over to the bank, you know what I mean? And who do you think stepped out of the truck? David fucking King. I strafed to my left and got behind a car using the black tinted windows to observe. He was laughing with his partner, who got out of the passenger side. I was too far away to hear what they were saying, but I obviously didn't recognize the partner as anyone I knew. It was paranoia, but I wondered if he could be the one who made Katie speak into the phone. The two of them walked into Walmart, and I took note of the company that owned the truck, and then I had an idea. My first real idea on how I could fight back now that I knew where David was right this second. I sprinted back to my car. A little while later, I pulled up to Mrs. K's house. I got out and looked around, making sure David hadn't somehow beaten me here or followed me. I had to hurry. Who knew how much longer his shift would last? I knocked on the door and Mrs. K opened it.
Hello!
Hi, Mrs. K, can I come in? 5 minutes later, I was rifling through David's room. Had to hurry. Had to find something useful and fast. I told Mrs. K that years ago I'd let David borrow a video game and just now remembered and wanted to pick it up. She had happily let me go into his room and find them. I had booted up his ancient laptop, but it was taking forever to load. Why the hell hadn't he bought a new laptop with all the money he stole? That would have made good evidence. I glanced at every paper I saw, hoping for something. Written plans, checklist, receipt, anything. Every paper I found was normal. From what I could see, his room was a disaster, which worked in my favor. He may have dropped something incriminating and not have known about it. I stuffed every flash drive I could find into my pockets as I went. He had 4 of them laying around. They might have incriminating evidence on them. The laptop finally booted and I instantly tried to log in. No luck, password protected. I should have known, considering how tech-savvy he'd been hacking my accounts. In fact, all the incriminating data was probably on the laptop. He wouldn't bother printing anything out. That gave me an idea. I picked up the laptop and flipped it over. A toolbox laid under the table and I snatched a screwdriver from it. Using the screwdriver, I went to work, disassembling the laptop. And when I finished, I held his hard drive up in my hand. I will ruin you, David King, I whispered. As I reassembled the laptop, something caught my eye under the bed. A box. Furrowing my eyebrows, I pulled it toward me. It was a shoe box with dust covering the top. A few spots were less dusty from where someone had handled the lid. I opened it slowly and peered inside. It contained a 1/4-inch thick stack of pages all bound together by a binder clip. The box was too small to let the pad lay flat, so it curled in the box. The pages were old and worn. They'd clearly been handed frequently. I lifted it out and noticed that it looked like a research paper. The front page had a title in the middle of the page and an author at the bottom. Psychological Evaluation for David Edward King. The bottom of the page had the name of the institute and psychologist that had done the study as well as the year. I did the math, and the evaluation must have been done when he was 16. Jackpot. I stuffed it under my shirt and as best as I could to hide its square form. The laptop was set back in its place as if it had never moved. David would know something was wrong eventually, but not until he booted it up. I gave a last look around and wondered if there was anything else I should do. With no decent ideas, I left David's house, and Mrs. K gave me a brownie on the way out.
Goodbye!
She's in on it. The brownie has laxatives.
That's right.
He shits his pants. On the drive back to the Walmart, I tried to come up with a plan. I couldn't take this to the police because it was illegally obtained evidence and wouldn't be admissible in court. That's not technically true. He got permission from the mom.
That's true.
And the mom would be an alibi or else she'd be lying in court. I knew that from a bunch of crime shows. I had to get all the evidence myself and somehow get it to the police's hands legally. When I parked at the Walmart, it still wasn't that late. I walked inside carrying the flash drives and psychological evaluation with me. I used the demo computers to look at the contents of the flash drives, and looking back now, I'm amazed that they let USB sticks work on the demo machines. The first flash drive had old high school papers on it, nothing useful. The second and third drives were bootable drives that could boot Linux. I don't expect anyone to understand what that means, it's not important. It was on the fourth flash drive that I had my first
Breakthrough, bruh.
my breakthrough of evidence. It contained a single text file that had been edited the day before, and as I read through it, I realized that it was a conversation. With my current understanding, the flash drive was how David and his kidnapping partner had been communicating. David would write a message and hide the flash drive in a predetermined place. Then the kidnapper would go pick it up and read the message. The process would reverse when the kidnapper had a message to pass along. A lot of you will probably say, why wouldn't they just use encrypted emails? That's so much faster and safer. If they had used any kind of network to communicate, some internet service provider or some cell phone provider like Comcast would have a log entry of the messages being exchanged. Even if the data was encrypted, encrypted data is never 100% secure. If you dedicate enough processing power, you can crack any encryption. It may take thousands of years in some cases, but it could still be cracked. With our current advances in computing power, that could change to be even faster. David and his partner had reduced their risk of being caught by limiting who had access to the information. If you send an email to me via Reddit, I'm not the only one that gets the message. It passes through several servers and routers who all make a note that the message passed at a specific time. It leaves a trail. Unless you can erase the logs of those servers, you leave a trail no matter how you send your data. There was certainly some risk that someone could find the flash drive, plug it in and find all the data like I had, but that could be reduced by choosing decent hiding places. If you plan to pass messages this way, don't leave it laying around in your room. Especially don't leave it unencrypted. I still don't know why it wasn't encrypted. The text file would have a line, then skip a line and add another where the next response was. I don't have a flash drive or a copy of the conversation anymore, so I'll have to paraphrase as accurately as I remember. I'll use bullet points here on Reddit to format it more easily for you. Payment received? Question mark?
Yes!
Last half of payment comes when this is all over.
How long?
Depends on him.
Good.
Good. No suspicion. A quiet grab.
Was she harmed?
She fought. A couple bruises. Otherwise fine. There were some extra lines in between, making the start of a new conversation. Any new information?
A kidnapping report has been filed with the police. Change locations every 2 days as previously discussed. Are you well supplied?
We have enough in the truck to keep moving and stay operational.
Good! With any luck, this will be over soon once he makes an irreversible mistake.
I shuddered. As I closed the text file, this was damning evidence. I checked the owner of the file, and it was blank. Well, that would have been too convenient. I googled the kind of cable I would need to hook the hard drive up to a computer and bought a SATA to USB cable. I was thankful that the demo computers were in an aisle out of the view of employees in the tech center. To people who don't know technology, I'm convinced I look like a hacker. Let me give you another lesson on technology, since I seem to be giving so many in this series. When you boot your computer, it asks for a password if you've set one. Without that password, you can't access the hard drive unless you have some hacked up workaround. And in some cases, however, you can unplug the hard drive and plug it into another computer instead. The new computer will treat it like a regular external hard drive, and voila, you have access. Unfortunately, David had encrypted his entire hard drive, so it was useless to me at the moment, until I had some spare time to either guess the password or find someone who could crack it. Going to the summer supply section of the store, I took a seat and pulled out the psychological evaluation and looked at the cover page again. Psychological Evaluation for David Edward King. I hope you realize that I've removed the institution, author, and date for privacy's sake. I spent an hour skimming the contents using the table of contents to navigate. I constantly had to look up lengthy words on my phone, but I was beginning to understand what went on in David's sick little mind. I won't give you an entire rundown of the whole life, but the report contained transcribed interviews with his parents about incidents, a psychologist's observations while holding David in confinement, and a general list of events that had occurred in David's life that may have traumatized him. These are the ones that I remember. David had set fire to animals constantly and poked them with various objects, and when a snake lunged and bit him once in the backyard, his mother came out to find him whipping the limp body against a tree with its guts spraying everywhere. His only explanation was, "It tried to hurt me." Unless you want to read that.
It tried to hurt me.
Yeah, I think I'll keep both. He was found designing traps for rabbits and other animals that were expertly hidden and designed. He claimed to have never looked at a wilderness guide to make them. His mother later found entire notebooks containing designs for traps. The traps were aimed at getting both animals and humans. His father died when he was 12, which affected him greatly. He became quiet and reserved for years. The first day of high school, however, he changed overnight and became charismatic, energetic, and clever. In middle school, one of his teachers had been interviewed after an incident. She had noticed that 3 boys had begun picking on David, but he quietly took whatever they gave him. One day, she came to class, and all 3 boys sat ramrod straight and stared straight ahead. They didn't dare look at David, and David was smirking, trying to hide it. Finally, let me try to summarize what the psychologist wrote about David. Do a psychologist voice.
David seems to have a constant need to harm other living things and cause suffering. Once, in my office, I found him stomping his feet on the floor. I asked what he was doing, and he admitted that he was trying to crush anything microscopic that could be on my floor. I seriously fear that he will not be able to remain in society without serious medication and therapy.
I had no idea that David had any of these problems or experiences. He and I had met when we were both 17. He'd been exactly as the report described: charismatic, energetic, clever. I felt blind for not seeing any of the red flags, but I knew that he had hidden them well, intentionally. The psychologist made another entry a month later.
David seems to have performed a complete 180 in his mood, actions, and demeanor. He has been polite and kind every time he has come in, and is very capable of being fully functional.
The sentence struck me as odd. Months of statements about David's instability, and suddenly this comes out. I googled the professor's name, and he died in a car crash the same year as the publication date on his evaluation.
Fuck.
Son of a bitch. I reread the very last entry. I recognized the words for what they were. Coerced. Recommendation to re-enter society. I could feel the psychologist's words screaming through the page.
Good God, he's going to kill me.
No wonder David was so prepared. No wonder he was always ahead of me. No wonder his expression had spread such an absolute fear through me that night he chased Clark and I. He was insane. He designed traps. He knew what made people and animals tick. He enjoyed inflicting pain on them. And not just that, but watching them suffer. David was absolutely insane. Insane, but functional. That's what made him dangerous.
Off in the distance you hear...
I I hunkered down in my seat and brought up a Word document in my phone where I could take notes, and then I started Googling. You know what I'm talking about. You're facing a problem, so you start searching for anything online that can help you fix your problem. The internet was a wonderful tool for me at this moment, and without it, I'd have been dead months ago. I was kicked out of the Walmart for loitering, but I continued my research in my car. I turned the car on every once in a while to drive around and charge my battery. That night, I learned a lot about hacking, phones, androids, surveillance, police procedure, legal procedure, and all kinds of subjects that related to my situation. I took dutiful notes and outlined areas for further research and learning. During my research, I found a list of apps that could be used for hacking someone's phone. I checked my installed applications, and can you guess what I found in my phone? One of those apps. David fucking King had been eavesdropping and tracking me through my phone. Instead of deleting the app, however, I kept it. It could be useful in the future. I also researched the company David apparently worked for. It was a larger company that served several states, providing both long and short distance transport of valuable goods. This was good information. If his job was to handle valuable goods, then it could be an easy way to get him fired or even charged if some sort of disappearance from his truck. His truck was long gone by then, so I had no current opportunity. During all hours of the night, Hernandez would call me. So would Katie's mom, and I ignored them both. That was a big mistake I'll later learn. When the sun rose, I didn't even feel tired. I felt empowered. Finally, I knew more about my situation and enough to be useful. I knew how to get those hard drives to the police legally, but I'd need Clark and Hernandez's help. I never got to use that plan, though. Reality caught up with me. David moved too quickly. I was driving to my apartment to see if I could brush my teeth, take a shower, and at least before work that day, when my phone buzzed. It was Hernandez. I answered it, reluctantly, prepared to get an earful for ignoring him all night.
Xander, where are you?
Driving to my apartment.
You need to come down to the police station. Right away.
Why? What's up?
Oh, he's bad, Holmes.
Confused, I hung up and turned right, heading towards the police station. I walked into the police station lobby to find Hernandez waiting for me. Did Isaac's body turn up anything? Looking at his worried expression.
They're still analyzing it.
Then he took a deep breath.
Some new development has come up.
I gave him a questioning look, and then felt cold metal click around my right wrist. I reacted, but the two cops who had flanked me pulled my arms together. The metal clicked around my other wrist, handcuffing me. What the hell? The policemen each gripped one of my arms.
Xander, I know you're upset about everything that's going on, but what you did went too far.
What the fuck are you talking about? Hernandez held up a bag containing a phone. He used the touchscreen through the bag and navigated the phone's voicemail. The voicemail was jolty and sounded like whoever had the phone was running. Wind struck the mic, making it harder to hear in places, but the voice was unmistakable. It was mine. Fuck you, jackass. You ruined my credit, stole my money, hacked my accounts, stole my shit. I'm going to kill you. You think I need motivation to hurt you? I'm going to kill you, you son of a bitch. You'll burn in hell. You'll burn. My heart shuddered to a halt. I had said those things. I had literally said those things. The night David chased us and pinned me to a table, I'd said every word. The bastard had been recording the whole thing, and now edited it into a threatening voicemail.
David King's home burned down last night,
he said slowly, watching me, gauging me.
David and his mother were still inside. Firefighters found David alive, and they were able to pull him out, but his mother was already dead. That voicemail was sent through his phone from yours at the time of the firefighters estimated the fire started.
I lost my breath. My eyes watered. The world closed in. I couldn't speak. Couldn't defend myself. Couldn't explain.
Xander Jones, you're under arrest.
I kind of like where it ended.
Yeah.
Because now he's arrested. and it's like it's a believable
Yeah.
end point.
And then people are gonna be like, "Oh no, what happens next time?
right.
Does he get jerked off in prison?
Yeah, does he get shanked? Does he get shanked? Does he get shanked by David King?
King's in there
in more than one way.
jerking him off. This is for killing my mother. It turned into Wario.
He really did. I told you you've been Waluigi this entire fucking time, and finally you're turning into Wario. He's dying, folks.
I hope you all appreciate some of the voices you get, because it kills me sometimes, man.
Yeah, asking him to do a podcast is like asking to take a couple weeks off of his life every time we do it, which is exactly why we haven't been recording more on many different things. I hate you. That entire episode took 6 years off of both of us.
You bastard!
It's funny how much your Hispanic accent sounds like your Japanese accent.
Oh, the waifu! Adios mio!
Oh my god.
Great. I fucking hate. What are we doing now?
Oh, we're just talking about it. You know, I wanted to see how you're feeling about David King, because you obviously support him so
absolutely.
much.
There wasn't enough of him in this one.
No, there was none of him.
It was really upsetting.
There was really none of him. But it's more about him. He looms in the distance, casting a wide shadow over the entire plot. You know that he's fucking sitting somewhere beating his meat going, yeah, I will ruin you.
I killed my mother for this.
Yeah, I mean, he did.
He did.
So, you know, like, that's genuinely one of my greatest fears, and one of the main reasons why I don't want to have kids, because of movies like
Oh, yeah.
There's Something Wrong with Kevin, and
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
and like kids that go up to like shoot schools and shit, you know. I genuinely, what if you were to have a child, and almost Dahmer, like, they seem to fascinate in like making things hurt, you know, trapping things. Like, how much of a red fucking flag as a parent is like, my son has been drawing notebooks of trapping animals, and then you get to a later page and it's trapping humans. Like, how does that make you feel?
The minute he would have lit an animal on fire, I would have been like, yep, that's it.
What would you do with
Into
them?
the doctor. Now.
Yeah.
Fix this!
Yeah, I don't know if you can.
Well, then I want a refund.
Because that's how it works.
Yes. No, I don't have the receipt. Yes, it's past the 30-day return policy. I'll take store credit. Give me half.
The idea is that you adopted, because you'd never have, like, a biological. So you'd be able to go and be like, I'm returning this.
What's the lowest selling value? Just give it to me, please. I don't want.
Because, like me, what I would do is I would return to my wife and be like, put it back. And, like, start shoving him back into her vagina.
Why about trying to get rid of me?
Is that what my kid would say?
Yo, that voice hasn't come out in a while. Next episode, gonna find a woman.
Please don't.
Give her that. Why does everybody eat my voices?
I forget where that voice even came from.
It was the Christmas episode where no one liked the one girl's gift.
Yeah.
Her gifts. Why is everybody trying to get rid of me?
You made that voice up.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good one. It's one of your best.
Thanks. I gotta, I fucking bring it. I come 100% every time to this fucking podcast, you know?
You do come.
I give you gold, and sometimes I give you bronze.
And sometimes you give me frankincense.
And myrrh.
And you claim to be Jesus Christ reborn. Yeah, no, I've been meaning to talk to you about that.
Hello, my children.
Here's the doctor. Fix this.
Fix this.
Wait. Oh, shit, I said my name.
Why did
Wait. What's it trying to get rid of me? Oh, shit.
Why is everybody trying to get rid of me?
Nope.
I
Anyway.
will find you.
This is, that's the fisherman. And this is lots of pasta.
Or if you're vegetarian, just pasta.
I hope everyone likes a shorter episode. I'm trying to hold myself true to that promise of keeping these episodes easier on both you and me, making them quicker, making them more palatable, I suppose. I've put too much of my life into this and have gotten very little in return, so continue enjoying all of my various content, and I might not kill myself.
Oh, and if you're wondering, no one subscribed to my OnlyFans, so now I'm just beating it on the corner for myself.
Why nobody subscribed to
Why nobody done my OnlyFans? Now I'm a poor jerking off bitch's tree!
I want to level with you. I know for a fact that there are like 3 or 4 people who absolutely would have supported your OnlyFans.
Fuck. Alright. Back in $9.99. Frowns McBooHoo. OnlyFans. Jerking off any movie,
It's
any
back.
video game, any book, whatever you want.
You thought we were done with this in late 2020, early 2021. Well, you're wrong. It's back. Frowns McBooHoo's OnlyFans page, $9.99. Listen to him do it one more time.
It's so X-rated, I had to add 4 X's. XXX.
It's so X-rated, he went to a doctor, and when he said fix this, they put it under an X-ray and said it's XXXXXX rated. And then he killed himself.
And then the X-ray looked at the doctor and said, "What about you?"
Alright, okay, that's enough.
Alright, goodbye.
That's enough fucking recordings.
I wait till the day's end when the moon is high, a little rise with the tide with the lust for life out. A massive army of a heart and so hard, and then we'll look across the land until we stand at the shore. I'll wait till day's end when the moon is high, and then I rise with the tide with the lust for life out. A massive army of a heart and so hard, and then we'll look across the land until we stand at the shore.